So let's get started. I know, Mike, you just let a bunch of people know kind of what's going on with your brother Paul, but we've had a few more people arrive. Would you be able to just give us a quick update on how Paul is doing?
Mike, you're muted.
You're muted, Mike.
Okay, I'm back.
There
Brother Paul had a heart attack on Sunday, was taken by ambulance to Stanford Pleasanton, where he had a stent put in. And then yesterday he had 2 more stents put in, and he will be home within the next couple of hours. He's doing fine. Doctor said he'll be back to normal in a month. And for any extra and above activities, he'll just need to train for them, but he will be able to do those. So he's in good spirits and appreciates the thoughts from all of you that already knew. And he's looking forward to being back with us. So yeah, he'll be home shortly.
All right, thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of Livermore today. And Mike Reel, would you be willing to do the honors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today? We're having trouble getting you off of mute there. So let's maybe go another direction. Ed Coates, would you be willing to lead us in the pledge today?
Yes, I certainly would.
Thank you.
Will you join me, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Songsters, Michael, Stu, Tim, what do you got for us today?
Look at that. We got 3 of us. And this is actually featuring Tim Berry on vocals and and guitar and tambourine. And I tried my fingers on the piano for the first time. And so what you get is, well, we have a motivational speaker today. So this is what it's a motivational song.
Thanks.
Sorry,
I'm in the black boxes.
I can't get it to, there we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. If you wake up and don't want to smile, if it takes just a little while, open your eyes and look at the day. You'll see things in a different way. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Why not think about the time to come? Not about the things that you've done. If your life was bad to you, just think what tomorrow will do. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. All I want is to see you smile. If it takes just a little while. I know you don't believe that it's true. I never meant any harm to you. Don't
too cool. And Mr. Barry, what a nice addition. Nice vocals. That's very cool. Excellent. Thank you, guys. I'm sure that's a lot of work to put that stuff together. That's great. We really appreciate that. A lot of fun. So thought for the day, Mr. Coyle. What do you got for us, Pat?
Well, thanks, President Ken. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. And if we have any guests, recent events like we've just heard about from Paul's situation and from Marty make me think of loss and gratitude. And this song that we just heard is another play on that. But how we deal with aging bodies and minds and live fully as the adventure continues is a relevant topic for all of us. Yeats said, "We are fastened to a dying animal. To be alive in our bodies implies physical suffering, inevitable decay, aging, sickness, and death, no matter what we want. I want to remember this, not to be morbid, but to remember to live every day as if it was my last. One day it will be." I've been paying close attention to my life, the choices I've made and those to come. Poet Mary Oliver's lines speak to me. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? When it's over, I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Novelist Thomas McGuane's line resonates. As they say in South America, everyone knows they're going to die, yet nobody believes it. Human lapses of this kind enable us to fish, fornicate, overeat, and bet on the horses. I've stepped into this new phase knowing life is short, losses and diminishment are inevitable, and we die. Most mornings before I meditate, I look at the photos in the room and I'm grateful for the families Kathy and I came from, the gift of our lives and our siblings our parents gave us. I'm grateful Kathy chose me for our life together and for our young adult children. I'm grateful for the health, comfort, and safety of our lives. I'm grateful for the career I had at the lab and a generous pension from UC. I'm grateful for all those who have helped me. I'm grateful for the totality of experience that has brought me to the present moment. I practice mindfulness. I joke that I'm doomed or blessed with no alternative but to practice. Meditation teacher Sylvia Borstein reminds us, I start over. That's the practice for you as well. Plan to be starting over all the time. Strive on with diligence. Move with sureness into the future. Find out what you love. Do it because you love it. Stick with it. Start now. The line from Green Day's song runs through my mind. It's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Back to you, Ken.
Ken, you're muted.
Thanks, everybody. Still getting used to this. So our frontline team, I want to acknowledge typographical error on my part. Our Zoom host last week was Glenn Kubiak, and he did a great job. But Jeff Yunsma is back in the saddle today, and we certainly appreciate all of his efforts in that role. And I'm going to give a shout out on Jeff's behalf. If you would like to help the club and be the Zoom host sometimes, he would love to create a team of people that can spread that load around. So if you're interested in helping out, let Jeff know. Our Spur reporter today, Jim Schmidt, audio visuals, Alan Frank, thank you every week putting together these slides. Our chat monitor, David Rounds, and Kathy publishing the Spur this week. And I believe she too would like to form a team on that. Is that correct, Kathy?
That is correct. Dawn and I would like to form a bigger team. And if you have any word processing experience, you can be a Spur publisher.
All right. I'm guessing there's a few people in this crowd that have worked with a word processor before, so many of us might be able to help with that.
Okay, thank you, Ken.
So thank you all for your contributions to making our club go. And if you'd like to help somewhere, don't be bashful, right? So visiting Rotarians, I didn't see anybody. Let me scroll through again really quick here. Do we have any visiting Rotarians with us today? If I'm missed you, please give a shout out. Going. No visiting Rotarians this week. Guests of Rotarians. I think I saw somebody, Ed Coates. Do you have a guest today?
Yes, I certainly do, Ken. It's my pleasure to introduce my very special lady, Carol Joyner. Believe it or not, Carol and I, of course, we're both widows, but we were high school sweethearts 63 years ago. So we are
Wow.
enjoying a very special relationship. Just if Carol lives in Carmichael, so I've gotten to know, or Claremont rather, I've gotten to know I-5 pretty well. And Carol is a designated pilot and examiner for the FAA and still doing it. So at any rate, it's my pleasure, guys, to introduce Carol.
All right. Well, Carol, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Any other guests out there today? Scrolling through, not seeing anybody. Okay. So volunteer opportunities. I want to just touch on a few of these things, opportunities to help out. Community service. I know Christian last week made an appeal about the upcoming barbecue at Maryland Avenue. I believe that date is September 2nd. So if you're interested in being part of the team, helping out with that, please get in touch with Christian. And my understanding, we talked about an opportunity this coming Monday to help unload a donation of water at Open Heart Kitchen. And I believe Christian is looking for just a few more people that might want to help with that. I'm thinking that is not going to take a lot of time. It's going to be Monday afternoon. But there again, if you have some energy and time to help out with that, please let Christian know. Club service. So currently Bob Jacobs is handling signups for the Spur Reporter gig, and he would also like to be part of a team. So if you would like to help Bob with that and maybe help coordinate and line people up to be our Spur Reporter every week, please let Bob Jacobs know. Sheila Faliano has graciously stepped up and offered to take lead on Thought for the Day signups. If you are interested in sharing some of the wisdom I know you all have with us at one of our meetings, please let Sheila know and sign up for Thought of the Day. And I just got word a little while ago, Debbie Peck has signed up to take lead on our acknowledging birthdays and anniversaries in the club this week, or excuse me, every month. But I just heard today that she's going to do that. So I just want to say thanks to Debbie. I appreciate her helping out. Again, don't be bashful. If you would like to help our club go, we'd love to have you on board. I didn't give Alan a heads up about this, but I'm going to take this opportunity. I know people are curious and have expressed their desire for us to get back to in-person meetings as soon as possible. I maybe jumped the gun last week. We thought we were this close working things out with the Robert Livermore Community Center. Turns out they have the venue booked out through August. Excuse me. So right now, it looks like we're back to our original target of 1st of September. So I know that that's maybe a disappointment for everybody, but just want to keep you updated. The situation's dynamic. We're trying to figure this out as we go. New venue. I think we're going to get there. No, I take that back. I know we're going to get there. We're just trying to nail down the details. So we'll definitely keep you all posted as we get more information about that going forward. So,
Hello, President Ken.
Christian.
Yeah, real quick. I'm getting some chats right now asking me for the time for Monday at Open Heart Kitchen. I'm gonna send that via email immediately after this meeting to all the volunteers. Also, I'm gonna post that in the chat right now. So far, I have 3 volunteers. I have Pat Coyle, I have Caroline, our past president, and I have Paul McCandless. And I thank them so much. These people, they do a lot of good. And I was there at their Danville location. However, we're gonna deliver in Pleasanton. I'm gonna post the address. It's very, very close. From 3 p.m. we're gonna start. I will not be there, unfortunately. I'm leaving tomorrow out of town, but Chris Eisen will be there. And again, I want to give a shout out to Chris for delivering 72 cases of water. That's amazing. And they were so grateful when I was there yesterday. So again, Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you for that update, Christian, and appreciate your coordinating those efforts, and absolutely want to echo your thanks to Chris Ising, a very generous contribution. We really appreciate that. So next up, I believe Keith Beck had some good news for us, or something he wanted to share with the club. Keith, is that correct?
Yes, it is. I have a couple of things that I wanted to share. One is from Hope Hospice, and they have a community service announcement. They have a family caregiver respite program, and this is geared toward anyone that has a loved one that has dementia, and they are going to supply up to 16 free hours of care for that family. So I had sent President Ken a flyer on this. So I don't know, Ken, if you can send that out later on to the group.
Jeff, would you be able to let me share my screen, or is that?
You should just be able to go to the bottom where it says share screen, and you'll be able to do that.
I'm getting, oh, now I can. Okay, great, thank you. So here is the flyer. Can everybody see that family caregiver respite program? I'm assuming you guys can see this. I'll coordinate, Keith, to get that distributed out to club members after the meeting.
And if anyone wants to contact me regarding a family that would be in need of care, let me know, or you can certainly contact Hope Hospice directly. So that's number one announcement. Number two announcement is, before I think about getting fined, because my wife and I are going to head to Denver in a few weeks to see a Joe Bonamassa concert, which is a blues artist, which I follow. So that's number one. Thank you, Dennis. You should go too. Number two, after 3 attempts being postponed, my wife and I are going to go to France. And I've been promising this to her for now 2.5 years. And finally, with the COVID pandemic, toning down, France is opened up. So we're going to be heading out in September. We'll probably be gone the full month. So President Ken, I might need a leave of absence for that. But because of these fun things that my wife and I are doing, Carol and I are doing, I would like to be the first one to join the President's Club. That's it. Thank you, folks.
Keith, thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. Hope you and Carol have a great time on that trip.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to join the President's Club? Okay, maybe next time.
Yes, President Ken.
No, I will, President Ken, I would be happy in honor of your service and in honor of your invitation to all of us to step up our participation in the club this coming year and focus on community service. I'm happy to join the President's Club.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Ken, I would love to follow that with your energy. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of good this year. I'm really very, very excited. So I'm gonna join your club right now. So let's do it.
Thank you very much, Christian. Appreciate it.
Ken, President Ken, I would also like to join the President's Club.
Thank you, Pat. Really appreciate it. And
And so Ken, this is the other Pat Coyle. I already stated I would the equivalent. I'm already done on RI and I do the Rotary Foundation. So this will just be the President's Club equivalent to Ken through
Thank you.
our lunch money account or something.
Thank you, Pat.
Me
Mr.
too.
Gilmartin, Dr. Gilmartin.
Thank you. I would like to tell you that the opera is opening up. We have our first Opera in the Vineyard this Sunday. It will be sold out. We have another one in September. It is getting close to sold out. We have a celebration in October in the Bankhead. And then our first opera returns with Otello, a powerful opera in the spring. In honor of that, I would like to give $50 to the music scholarship fund. I have just already given 1,000 each to our foundation and the International Foundation. So I guess I'm a member of the President's Club too.
Thank you, TJ. Appreciate it.
Well, Ken, I will do it too because Pat keeps preempting me. He puts his hand up way before me. He doesn't even give me a chance. So
He's
I'm
quick
gonna
with
do
that
it.
hand up.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it.
Hey, President Ken, I'd like to join the President's Club too. I just want to honor you, and I think you're going to have a fantastic year. So I'm going to follow suit.
All right. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate it. I see there's lots of other folks in the chat making a commitment to help out and fund that. So I want to thank everybody. This club is so generous with not just your financial resources, but your time. We really appreciate it. And again, I believe that together we can do so much. It truly is impressive, the generosity of this group. So I want to thank you all for that. Is Lynn here? Oh, there you are. Hi, Lynn. Do you want to give us an
I wanted
update?
to quickly just mention, I've talked about this before. We're having a fundraising dinner at Splendorio's Estate and Vineyard. And it is on August 14th. It's a fundraiser for Culinary Angels, and we still have some tickets available. We are almost there, but if anyone wants to come to the dinner, please email me at lynn@culinaryangels.org. And we would love to have you join. It's going to be a wonderful dinner prepared and crafted by Claudia, our chef.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for,
Thanks, Ken.
for sharing that with us, Lynn.
What's the cost?
Oh, $150 each. And 100% of that goes to Culinary Angels.
So that's 300 a couple.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
And you can send a check. I can get you the information if you email me.
Thank you, Lynn.
I think we can, if I can add, TJ, we will trust if he signs up. He can give us the money when he shows up, but only for TJ though.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll let you guys figure that out. So next week, we are fortunate to have Dennis Gams, member of the Morning Club, long-term director at the Rotarian Foundation of Livermore, and Dennis serves on the Zone 7 board. He's going to give us an update, right? And it seems like that's going to be really timely information. It looks like we are in a drought again, right? So Dennis is going to talk to us about what our local water situation looks like. So that should be really interesting next week. At this time, Pat, do I remember correctly? Are you going to introduce our speaker today, Pat Coyle?
I'm happy to do that. However, Splin, if you're here and you'd like to, go right ahead, but just
knock yourself out, Pat.
Sure. Well, I went and looked on the website, but there is a short bio. And so I think let's do that quickly so that we can hear from David. But here's the bio. David George Brooke, that gratitude guy, has been a speaker, coach, and best-selling author for over 25 years. He's a former Nordstrom store manager and has managed in the corporate world for over 30 years. His published works include That Gratitude Guy's Daily Gratitude Journal, Monday Morning Minutes, 100 Messages of Gratitude, 6 word lessons to embrace gratitude, and a number of other books on gratitude. As a result of his passion for gratitude, he's presented over 750 speeches and workshops in the past 8 years, including over 100 Zoom presentations in the last 18 months. He travels nationally and internationally to deliver this important message. He has over 1,500 gratitude videos on YouTube and over 1,500 subscribers. Thousands have seen his message, and he's now considered a leading authority on how living a life of gratitude can enhance and improve your life, both personally and professionally. Take it away, David.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you, Splend, also for inviting me. I am very fortunate to get to do this 2 or 3 times a week. I'm a member of Seattle 4 Rotary up here in Seattle, where I live. But before I even get started, I want to make sure, and I can't remember if I passed this on to Splend, but make sure you have at least a piece of paper, maybe a pad of paper and a pen, and your cell phone handy. And you'll see why we'll need that a little bit later. And for those of you that have your cameras on, there's a couple times I'm going to ask you things. I'm going to ask you to give me a high five. As you heard Pat say, I've done 100 Zooms since the pandemic started. And so I'm very, very used to doing the Zoom presentation. And it's really, really neat to see all the faces. So, but I understand some people can't always do that. I call this maximizing your gratitude attitude. In case you haven't noticed, I talk very fast. I will be done at exactly 1:30. There isn't usually a lot of people that ask me questions when I film a lot of the attitude of gratitude and the things that gratitude can do for you. So I will just tell you right up front, the more you, this is very interactive, the more you participate, the better it will be for you, the more you will benefit. My backstory is I had a lot of losses in my life, and I had a lot of sad things happen to me. My parents died when I was pretty young. My father took his own life. My wife passed away when my sons were 4 and 14. And a number of other things. And I needed to find some sort of solution. And ultimately that solution became gratitude. But I think, first of all, I want to start out with talking about your attitude, the person you see in the mirror every morning brushing your teeth. I contend that's maybe the most important relationship you have outside of maybe your faith. And that relationship you have with that person, the better you get along with that person, the better things seem to work in life. But it does depend on how you look at things. You can get out of bed on the left side or the right side. You can have a positive or negative attitude. You can be grateful or ungrateful. And it does depend so much. I live in Seattle, not far from where Jeff Bezos lived, who just went up in the rocket yesterday. And there's a floating bridge that goes across from Bellevue to Seattle. And I was in a foot race there a number of years ago. It was at 6.2 miles or something. And as I'm running across the bridge, I notice people are passing me and I'm not doing very well. And I look in front of me and there's a lot of people up in front of me. And I think, man, this is discouraging. But I turn around and I look behind me and there's just thousands of people going up to Medina. That's where Gates and Bezos and those guys live. And I turned back around and I thought, here's what's interesting. All these people that are in front of me, if they weren't here today, I would be in first place. I mean, what if all those people had just decided not to go? I mean, I got a sore thumb, honey. I don't think I can make it to the 10K race. So it all depends on how you look at something. So let's start with the first exercise. Here's what I want you to do. Go to that piece of paper or your pad of paper and a pen, and I want you to write down up in the upper left-hand corner somewhere 2 words. You are, Y-O-U-A-R-E. You are, upper left-hand corner. And then what I want you to do now, I'm going to give you 30 seconds for this, and I want you to pretend for the next 30 seconds that you are your biggest cheerleader. You know, I'm one of the older folks here, so I don't know, some of us don't have our parents, but maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kids, a professor, a mentor, a teacher, somebody that really thinks you are the cat's meow. I want you to be them for the next 30 seconds. And here's what I want you to do in 30 seconds. Write as many descriptors that they would say about you. You are talented, you are creative, you are funny. However they would describe you, write as many things as you can in 30 seconds, go. Okay, and there's 30 seconds, and I try to keep it moving because, again, I only have a half hour. So as you look at that list, it took you 30 seconds to write them down. You probably wrote 6 or 8 or maybe 10 things. Take 3 seconds or whatever and reread them again. And as you silently reread those descriptors that person said for you, about you, Give me a high five in the screen or a thumbs up if your camera isn't on, if you feel better about yourself, just after reading that and seeing those 6 or 8 or 10 descriptors. Of course, there's a lot of high fives. This is a Rotary class group, for crying out loud. Look at all those high fives. And I even see the mechanical high fives too, or the thumbs up, you can do it too. That is a classic example of what a gratitude mindset will do for you. When you look and see all your strengths, what I talk about with gratitude, it helps you focus on what you have, not what you don't have. It helps you focus on your abundance and your blessings. And it makes everything else irrelevant in many ways. It's kind of like the saying I say a lot. It's in right behind my shoulder on my desk back up here. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. This whole concept of comparing ourselves to other people is just ridiculous. It's like a cat chasing its tail. They have a better boat, better house, better wife, bigger car. All this makes more money. How's this? It's ridiculous. And so when you get a good relationship and you see how your biggest cheerleader thinks of you, I want you to realize that gratitude and writing in a gratitude journal, something I talk about a lot. I sell a ton of these gratitude journals, helps you to keep focus on all your blessings, and it'll keep a better attitude and a better relationship with yourself. It does depend, as I say, so much on what you, and on terms of how you see yourself. If you happen to have a little 3x5 card, I'm back to doing in-person talks now, so I hand these out. I would suggest you write those descriptors on a little 3x5 card or something that's stronger than your piece of paper, and put it on your mirror, put it on your computer, your bulletin board, refrigerator, somewhere. And if you're having kind of a rough day and you go look and see how somebody looks at you, it might make you feel a little bit different. It might boost those spirits a little bit. And that's all about what gratitude can do. So that's how, number one, looking at how you control and see yourself and that person in the mirror. Number two, harnessing gratitude's power. It's so important. I think everybody knows that 2 people go to a hospital with the same disease. The positive attitude lives, the negative attitude dies. It's been proven over and over and over again. I think it can even save your life. When I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I learned how to fly. And my instructor says to me one day, now today's instruction is very important. We're going to go over being in the clouds in IFR, instrument flight regulations. And he says, pay attention to me. And this is a word he used. This is 30 years ago. You're going to be grateful that you listened to me today, David. And I said, okay, Jay, I didn't really quite why I was making an emphasis. So he says, always believe your instruments. I don't care what your heart says, your stomach says, or your head says, because they're going to get messed up sometimes. You're going to get vertigo. You're going to get inverted. You're going to have a problem computing rather what your stomach says and what is actually happening to the plane. So I listened to him and he said, you'll be grateful. I paid attention to what he said. I got my license. 6 months later, I'm flying with some friends of mine. I'm in a small plane. I'm heading down to Ocean Shores of the ocean. We get in some clouds. The plane starts to turn. I look and it says it's in a 60-degree bank turn to the right. And I think I'm straight and level. That's how much vertigo I had. That's how confused I was. And I remembered what he said. You're going to be grateful if you remember. So I hit the heading bug. The plane turned back straight like this. And I thought I was upside down. I was so confused, but I remembered what he said. And I just hung in there, waited and waited and kept pulling up, and finally came up above the clouds, said, we're going back to Seattle. It's not a day to go to Ocean Shores. But that basically saved my life. And by him saying that, it made such a big difference. So I want you to promise me that you'll do something, and that is consider doing a gratitude walk every day. I walk 8 to 10 miles every single day, and I record videos, and I see, you'll have a chance to sign up for my Monday Morning Minute in a little bit here, but I record videos, I listen to podcasts, Audible books, and so forth. But I want you to think about doing a gratitude walk, because exercise is the key to long life. And any book you read will talk about exercise. And then think about just having a different focus every single day on what you're grateful for, and it'll make such a big difference. So something to keep in mind. I can't check back with Livermore like next month, but please promise me you'll consider doing that. I think it's really neat. The science of gratitude. I'm not a PowerPoint guy. I love to talk about a lot of things and have exercises, but I'm just not a fan of the PowerPoint clicker. So I'm going to read this real fast about the studies and the research that the science of gratitude has said. Appreciating what we have measurably improves our relationships, our life satisfaction, our health, our sleep, and it improves our physical health, leading to fewer aches and pains, lower blood pressure, and less depression. Grateful people are more likely to take care of their health, exercise more often, and schedule regular checkups. Gratitude reduces toxic emotions like envy, resentment, frustration, anger, and aggression, and enhances positive emotions like empathy, caring, and sympathy. Too much of our time is spent pursuing things we currently don't have. I mentioned that earlier. Gratitude reverses that and realigns our priorities to appreciate what we currently, emphasis on currently, what we currently have. Happiness is rarely constant. So although happiness is a fantastic goal, gratitude for the tools that get you there is more important. How easily we can lose sight of everything we have to be thankful for when the circumstances of life become unpleasant. Think about the last 18 months in coronavirus. We are our own worst critics and we hold ourselves to impossible standards. We continually compare ourselves to other people. Don't do it. Science says that the more you choose positive and kind words to describe yourself, your health, your body, and your progress, the less anxiety you will feel. This thing of comparing yourselves to other people, I don't understand. I used to beat the you-know-what out of myself, and I would call myself all sorts of names. And I thought to myself one day, man, you'll say stuff to yourself you would never say to a friend. And I used to call myself a word that I will not say that word anymore, but I'll spell it for you. And it was spelled L-O-S-E-R. And finally, one day I stopped and said, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. If you don't advocate for yourself, who else is going to advocate for you? So it's all about understanding who you are and the strengths that you have. Forget the other stuff. I always say to people, make your strengths productive, make your weaknesses irrelevant. Don't worry about the weaknesses. It's irrelevant. Make the strengths productive. So here's a homework. So before I even say this, I want to high five this screen. The people will tell me they'll do this homework in 1 week. I want to get all high fives. You don't even know what it is yet. And so you're going to trust me. And so everybody, I'm looking. Hold on, I got to check the other screen here. Make sure we have a lot of high fives. High fives, promise. Yeah, this is Rotary. I'll tell you, there's something about Rotarian service. Thank you. Thank you for that. Here's the assignment. Today is Wednesday, July 21st. I would like you to do this by Wednesday, July 28th. And I can't check up on you. I might call Splend and say, Splend, can I come back on and see how they did and see if they did the assignment? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down the most top memorable events of your life that you've ever experienced. And that's why I'm going to give you a week to do it. You can't do it all at the same time, but I want you to write down the most memorable events of your life. And then when you put it down on a list, you could do it on a piece of paper. You could do it on a Word doc, an Excel, put it in priority order, and then add it up to one of three things: top 25, top 50, or top 100. Promise me you'll get that done by a week from today, and then do the same thing I mentioned on the little card. Print it out, put it on the bulletin board, put it on the refrigerator. One day I was lamenting, the reason I started this exercise, I was lamenting the fact that I haven't been to Greece. I haven't been to Paris. And I thought, oh, what are you doing? You're the gratitude guy. You're going down the wrong path. Behind me, I've got pictures of my airplane. I used to race a hydroplane. I was a national champion. I raced go-karts, hot air balloons. I've done all these crazy things. Oh, but I haven't been to Greece. So when you focus on the things that are the most memorable events of your life, it can be personal, it can be professional, it can be kids, it can be spouse, it can be trips, it can be all those things. Put it in priority order. And I'm telling you, I promise you, you have a day things aren't going quite as well. You go look at that list, it'll change things. So next subject. So please, thank you for all agreeing that you're going to do that. I appreciate that. Next, a gratitude journal. This is called That Gratitude Guy's Daily Gratitude Journal. By show of hands, how many people have heard of a gratitude journal? High five to the screen or thumbs up. And so it's always, let me check the other screen. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I'd say about a third or so, which is not bad. What is a gratitude journal? It's something you write in every day and talk about what you're grateful for. I sell a lot of these. It's got a format to it. When you open it up, it says gratitude today. It says the day and the date. There's a daily number we'll talk about in a second. There's 2 lines that said, what are your current events or special occasions? So you don't have to have a diary. There's 4 or 5 lines you write what you're grateful for. There's 2 lines that say, what is the highlight of your day? And that's either today or yesterday if you write first thing in the morning. And then on the right-hand side is your gratitude intentions. I can't cover that in a half hour, but that's what you're going to be grateful for that hasn't even happened yet, because your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what it thinks has happened and actually happens. And you can actually help predict and be grateful for things in the future. So let's do a gratitude exercise to see how this works. I'd like everybody, now this again is a private, you're not sharing this with anybody. This is just you and the piece of paper. So go back to the piece of paper and I want you to assign yourself a daily number. And here's how the daily number works: 1 to 10. This is kind of taking your temperature right now. The best day of your life, or a really great day, you'd be a 10. And on a 1, it's been a pretty tough day. So kind of assign yourself what your number is at this very moment at 1:10 p.m. on Wednesday, July 21st. And you can do halves. You might be a 7.5 or 8.5 or something like that, or you might be having a tough day, a 4 or something like that, or a 3. But whatever it is, nobody's going to see it. Write that number down, put a circle around it. Next, you're going to write 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to write 4 things. So put down numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And on numbers 1, 2, and 3, I'll give you about 30 seconds to do this. I want you to write down the number one thing you're grateful for in your entire life at number 1. At number 2, the second thing you're most grateful for. And at number 3, the third thing you're most grateful for. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to write down those 3 things you're most grateful for in your life in order of importance. Okay, and hopefully you've got that down. Number 4, this might take, I'll give you another 15, 20 seconds on this. What was the highlight of your day yesterday? What was the best thing that happened to you yesterday? Personally, professionally, anything, write that down at number 4, and I'll give you about 15, 20 seconds to think about that. Okay, hopefully you've got that down. So just like before, it takes about 30 or 40 seconds or whatever to write them down. It'll take you 10 seconds to reread the number 1 thing you're grateful for, the number 2, the number 3, and the highlight of your day. I want you to silently read those 4 things again to yourself, really concentrating on them. And then after you've read the 4, I want you to write down another daily number at the bottom of reading those 4. It could be the same number or it could have changed. But whatever that number is, after reading those 4 things, write that number down at the bottom of that list and put a circle around it. Okay, so I'm trying to look at both screens at the same time here to see. With a high 5 to the screen from the number at the top to the number at the bottom, give me a high 5 if your number went up from the top down to the bottom after you read those 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep them up for one more second. Thank you. I would say, just glancing at this, probably, thank you, Rotarians, probably a third. So
that was easy.
yes, that was easy because, you know, that was a 60-second example of what writing in a gratitude journal will do. There's something about writing in it that makes it so different. There's a little saying that says, you can't really see it on Zoom, but it says in the upper left-hand corner of my journal, if you think about it, it's like a dream. If you talk about it, it inspires you. But if you write about it, it empowers you. There's something about, I am so grateful to Splendorio for inviting me to the Livermore Rotary today. I met a bunch of great people. There's something about that. And when you get to be my age, 7 decades on the planet, let me tell you, you're very conscientious about putting good stuff into this brain because this brain is a muscle too, and it needs to be coached and trained and kept busy all the time, just like the muscles in our body. So that writing it is even more of a reason why. So, okay, so grab your cell phones. So take this number down. I love to poll my audience. Take this number down, 206-371-8309, 206-371-8309, 206-371-8309. That is my cell. I would love you to text me and tell me the number 1 thing you're grateful for. I love to see, and again, Rotarians, I get definite vibes and things from Rotarian people versus other groups I speak to, but just, it can be one word, it can be a sentence, it can be whatever you want, but what's the number 1 thing you're grateful for? And as you're texting me that, I will tell you that it's interesting how I've almost kind of gotten militant about this because my old gratitude journal said the Brooker's Gratitude Journal. And that was my nickname for my buddies in college. And they'd always say, I need a dose of the Brooker. I've always been kind of a high energy guy, and they would be getting down about something. And they say, I need a dose of the Brooker. So they call me and I'd come, can you cheer me up? Can you pep me up? So now I've been a speaker now for about 8 or 9 years, and I get to speak, as you heard in the intro, everywhere across the country. I'm speaking in London via Zoom in mid-August, which I'm excited about. So I get to carry this message to a lot of people. But now what happens is they call me and they go, Dave, I need a dose of the Brooker. I'm feeling kind of tough today. Can you kind of pep me up or cheer me up? And I go, yeah, I'll be happy to. Let me ask you one thing. Have you written in your gratitude journal yet? And they go, no. I just hit my phone and I just end the call I just hang up on them. And so then sure enough, 5 or 10 seconds later, they call back. I think we got cut off. I go, no, we didn't. I said, I told you I will be your training wheels, but I'm not going to pedal your bike. You got to do something yourself. Write in the gratitude journal. If you still need to talk to me every time my number goes up in this journal, is just as I did with you folks, there's a number at the top. And then when you write, it takes 5 minutes. That's all it takes. And then you write another number at the bottom. Invariably, it goes up because you're taking the moment to focus on what you're grateful for. And as importantly, write it down, which makes such a big difference. I really miss being out in person. And so I'll do these keynotes anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. I go into more depth about gratitude and how it works and why and so forth. But at my book table, so I get to sell my books. And by the way, that Gratitude Guys Daily Gratitude Journal is available on Amazon if you're interested. It's $15. But somebody will come up to the book table and they'll say, is this your personal journal that you're writing in yourself? And I go, yeah, I just kind of keep it by my briefcase and everything. He says, do you mind if I look through it? I said, well, yeah, don't look too closely. So he kind of looks through it and he kind of flips through it like this. And he goes, wow, I see you writing this every day. Were you at the talk? Were you just in the convention center here? Did you hear what no, I just write in it occasionally because it makes me feel good. And I only want to feel good occasionally. So of course I write in it every day. It's one of the first things. It's like, get out of bed, make my bed, brush my teeth, write my gratitude journal. It's that important. And the reason I get so adamant about this thing about I'll be your training wheels, but I'm not going to pedal your bike. I think the good Lord gives us a toolbox, but I think he kind of expects us to build the house. You have to have a responsibility. And this last year and a half that we've had, which has just been absolutely crazy. We've had so much stuff going on, so much sadness and so much death and so much depression and anxiety and suicide and so forth. Gosh, I'm just offering a healthy coping mechanism in a world of a lot of deadly, destructive and deadly coping mechanisms. So it's so very, very important. So a couple of things, and then I want to get to how you can get more gratitude in your life too. So find yourself, find your talent, find your passion, find your purpose. I'm going to gloss over this very quickly. As I mentioned earlier, I think the relationship with yourself is the most important one that you have. It's very important once you get a good, solid relationship there to find your talent. If you're 125 pounds and 5'2", you're probably not going to be an NFL quarterback, but maybe you can be a jockey at the local racetrack or something. And then I think it's important to find your passion. As you can tell, I talk very fast. I get very excited about this. I've changed. People tell me all the time, you changed my life. You impacted my life. You made a difference. I loved your talk. It's just extremely, I get emotional thinking about it because I'm trying to give people a way to deal with this, but I'm very passionate about it. Hopefully you found your passion. If you haven't, think about what you do every day if you didn't get paid for it, or think about what you do every day if you had $1 million in your checking account every morning, you couldn't possibly spend it. Those will generally get you to think about what your passion is. And at some point, you're probably going to have your purpose. And I think it's so important. When I was managing, as you heard Pat say, I used to manage Nordstrom stores. I managed Lowe's and be 500-600 employees. And I remember it was about 2013 and I'd gone on this career and I'd always wanted to be a speaker since I was 19. I just wanted to be a speaker about something. And so my son, who was 4 when Dana died, my wife, he's now 17, and I was at Lowe's and I quit and I came home and he's sitting on the couch and he says, what are you doing home? It's about 2 PM. And I said, I quit. This is December 29th, 2013, about 8 years ago when I started. And he says, what do you mean you quit? And I said, I quit. He goes, you quit Lowe's? I went, yeah. You quit being a store manager? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, what are you going to do now? I said, well, I'm going to be a speaker. And Connor just sits there and stops for a second, looks up to me and he goes, well, that's just super, Dad. Just thought, wasn't quite the reaction I was having. He says, I do have a question for you. What are we going to do for food? Well, it's okay. It's going to work, but it's so important. And if you find your passion, you're probably going to find your purpose. I'm from the home of Starbucks and Microsoft and Amazon and all these companies. And I see a lot of people at Starbucks. They don't seem to have a lot of purpose. And how many lattes can you have in a day? So I think it's important to find yourself, your talent, your passion, and then get to your purpose too. So one of the things is, and speak about 5 more minutes and wrap up. So I have an exercise for you. I would like you to promise me that you'll do. This is another one. This is right up Rotarian's alley. If you want to help yourself, help other people, I would like you to promise me, and you can write them down right now, that you'll contact 1 to 3 people in the next week to see how you can offer them support. There's no hidden agenda. There's no less, I want to do this. I need to get a free cup of coffee. Just call them. And whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's in person, whether it's coffee, whatever it is, just to say, I just want to see what anything I can do to help or support you. People are blown away when you do that because they always think there's a absolute hidden agenda or something like that too, but just so funny to me. So anyway, so promise me you'll do that. So another thing, get your cell phones again. I promised that I promised this earlier, I send out a Monday morning minute every single Monday. Naturally, it's a 60-second video. If you'd like to get that video, go to your text function and text in the text number, the number 22828. This is the number 22828 where you would put in the phone number, 5 digits, 22828. And then the message box, put in gratitude guy and hit send. And gratitude guy is all one word. It'll come back and ask you for your email, and that will get you signed up because a lot of people, I think about 10,000 of those go out a day or every Monday. And it's just a video each week to inspire people. So text number 22828 and the message box, gratitude guy, and then you hit send, and that'll send back and give you the link that will give you the email to put in rather. So, all right, last thing I want to talk about is sharing gratitude. There's something when you've learned to embrace gratitude, when you've seen how it can do, you get a gratitude journal, you see the science of gratitude, you see some of these things that can make such a big difference. It's so important to share. And I think about the times that like I went skydiving once and I made a reservation and there was 10 of us. And so the week of the reservation, I'm usually the leader of things. So I made the reservation and on the Monday or Tuesday, a couple of people call me, they start coughing. I have a cough. I don't think I can make skydiving. I went, whatever. And then a couple more people bagged out. I finally got there Saturday at 10 a.m. for my appointment. I walk up to the counter, Issaquah Skydiving, east of here, about 50 miles. The guy looks at me and he goes, what, can I help you? I go, yeah, Brooke, party at 10, skydiving. He goes, okay. And he looks over my left and right shoulder. He goes, where's all your friends? And I went, I don't have any. Nobody showed up. I went by myself. And so it was like so amazing for those of you that ever skydived. That was like the static line at that time. And later I did the free fall thing. But at the time, there was nobody there. I get my little certificate. I walk out, it says, you're a skydiver. You did this. I walk out to my car by myself and go to my car talking to myself. Well, I'm pretty proud of you, Dave. That was kind of scary, but I'm glad you did it. I didn't have anybody to share it with. So it's so important to share things with people. So grab your cell phones, one last exercise, and I'll wrap up in about 5 minutes. This is called the sharing gratitude exercise, the 4 T's: telephone, text, tweet, and tell. Most of you will probably text. And here's what I'd like you to do. I'll give you 30 seconds. I would like you to text somebody on your phone and tell them how grateful you are to have them in your life. And please use the word grateful, whoever you want, husband, wife, best friend, children, parents, whatever it might be, text them and tell them how grateful you are to have them in your life. If you don't have your phone handy, promise me you'll write down a little note and send it to them today so that you can do that. So let me give you 30 seconds to do that. Okay, and you can go ahead and finish your text. Of course, when I'm in the junior high and high schools, they've already knocked out about 5 or 6 texts already. I've never seen fingers move so fast. And then when I go to senior centers, I have to like kind of help them do the text, and because I want to make sure they text it like everybody that gets to do the exercise. But it's so important, but it's also kind of comical because people come up to me at the book table afterwards and they go, look at the answer I got on my text. And the guy shows me his phone and it says, I'm grateful for you too. What do you want? I'm just being nice. I'm just telling you how grateful I am for you. Another one shows me his phone and it says, are you sure you sent this to the right person? And so, but the one I was always been memorable to me, it was in a performing arts center and the seats went up at an angle. And there's a lady about 10 feet from me. I was at the podium and she was in the first row and I called text, tweet, telephone, or tell. So she's using the telephone and she's got her phone and I can hear her from the stage. And she's going, hi, honey, I just want to let you know how grateful. And she used the word grateful. I just want to let you know how grateful I'm at. And I'm assuming it was her husband. I just appreciate you, and I'm so very grateful for, and I just wanted to tell, I don't know, some speaker just told me to call you and tell you. You ruined the whole thing. It's supposed to be from you. It's not from the speaker. So if you spread gratitude, if you want to help yourself, the best way to help yourself is help others. And it'll make such a big difference. And with Rotary, service above self, it totally falls into line with that. But I promise you, gratitude, embracing the gratitude. And as I said, and by the way, too, if you know of other people that are looking for a speaker, I always appreciate it because I never charge Rotaries. And Rotary is one of my favorite people to talk to because they're always so participatory, as I mentioned. But it's david@thatgratitudeguy.com is my email. And you can also get that gratitude journal on Amazon. But I so appreciate your time today. I will offer it as a absolutely fantastic coping mechanism in a world of so many deadly ones, as I mentioned earlier. It can change your life. It can transform your life. It can save your life. I felt it saved mine. It can save yours too. Thank you very much for being a great audience.
David, thank you very much for joining us today. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the message and your energy.
Thank you. Thank you, Pat.
Does anybody, before we let David go, any questions for David? Either
I
raise
just
your
texted
hand
the
or.
kids with how much I love them, and they think that it's a scam of some sort. So we'll have to work on that a little bit. But thanks for the.
Thanks, you guys. Like I say, Rotarians are just the best. And I have every so often I have people, and then I look, I'm doing the talk, and of course they're sending notes on their phone and writing things. And I go, thanks for paying attention. Not Rotarians though. There's something about that, but thank you all. And as I say, again, if you have any questions, David at That Gratitude Guy, I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, David. And,
You
and we've
bet.
got your cell phone number now, so maybe we'll give you a call.
That's right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks, Ken. See y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you again for joining
You bet.
us.
You bet.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for attending this week's Rotary Club of Livermore meeting, and hope you have a great day. I am grateful that you all chose to come today. So thanks very much. Have a good day, everybody.